Hello healers and health seekers, it's me, Ichoda, healing with medical medium information for 3 years, 9 months now. If you want to know about my healing journey and all of the diagnosis and symptoms and conditions I'm healing from, they are in the description box below and you can peruse at your leisure. But today I am here for What's Up Wednesday, and that is where I come in here and I talk about my healing journey and what is going on with me. As you may know, if you watch my videos, last week I posted a video about how I had to have an emergency gallbladder surgery. And my recovery is going well. I am still recovering from that, but actually I think I'm almost fully recovered. I'm almost fully back to my routine. The only thing I haven't started doing again is rebounding. My stitches are still healing a little bit, but mostly feeling pretty good. I have been able to make most of the stuff that I need to make. I do need a little extra rest lately, like naps and just kind of sitting a lot more. So yeah, definitely more rest, but in general, I'm feeling pretty close to back to normal, so that's good. Yeah, that's really good. So I had some questions that people were asking about the surgery, like, but if you've been healing this long, how come you ended up needing a surgery? And so I thought I would talk about that. I thought I would talk about my understanding of what happened that led to my needing to have my gallbladder removed, so that hopefully it'll help other people understand too. Now, I cannot say that what happened to me is what happens to all people who have gallbladder issues. I know what happened in my case and how it came to be, and I don't know that this necessarily applies to everyone. Okay, so if you've been following my channel for a while, you will know that, I don't know, several months back, I posted about having had a food poisoning incident a long time ago, and I posted a video about why I no longer eat in restaurants, and I will link those videos below. But the short of it kind of is, about a year into my healing, which is now almost 3 years ago, I was still eating at restaurants, and I ate at a restaurant in Arizona, and I was really excited because they were willing to saute up a veggie dish and cook it only in coconut oil. What I did not think about, and what I was not aware of then, is how if restaurants prepare meat at all, it doesn't matter what else they cook you, there's a possibility of bacterial contamination. And this restaurant did prepare meat, and that left me open to getting a pathogen from that restaurant, even though my dish was just veggies and coconut oil. And I got food poisoning. Thankfully, my son and my husband did not. They had something different, although I'm not sure why that would have mattered. I don't know what the circumstances were or why they didn't get it and I did. I'm glad they didn't get it. But I got food poisoning, and I was so sick, and everything was coming out both ends. I'll just put it that way. So I'm sitting on the toilet with a bucket in my hands, and everything's both ends. So after a couple of days, I ended up feeling better from that. I don't quite remember how long, but I did post videos about it. Again, those are linked below, if you really want to go into the whole thing, the longer story. And I didn't have any more episodes like that until way later. Like, I think it was months and months after that, I did have another episode, and I kind of didn't know what to attribute it to at the time. And again, it was both ends. So all of that was while we were still in the RV. Now, what I know now is that second episode was also linked to the same pathogen, even though I hadn't had an episode between. What can happen is, when you get food poisoning, that bacteria can stay in an organ, like your pancreas, and sit there and be dormant like after you have like your first episode where you're throwing up or whatever, and then you don't die, it can sit in your organ and be dormant for indefinite periods of time until it gets its opportunity. Well, my pathogen got its opportunity, and that opportunity was months and months and months and months of stress in the RV, because at first we thought we were only going to be in the RV maybe 3 months, and that was no big deal. But as we got to be in the RV for like 8 months or whatever, the stress started piling on because it was getting to be winter and we didn't know where we were going to stay. And we were having a hard time finding a house, and I'm chemically sensitive, so like I can't just go stay somewhere. It's like really, really difficult. And there were all these factors, and it was just stress. So like, even though my husband was working and had an income and stuff like that, so there was like that one thing was taken care of, sort of. I mean, there was still stress because it's like a newer job and all that stuff, but the stress of not knowing what we were going to do or where we were going to stay was just really intense. And then toward the end of being in the RV, I started letting a little bit of fat in. I had been eating no fat for I don't know how long time, months and months and months. I'm not sure how long. I've been eating no fat, and then all of a sudden, for what reason I can't fathom now, I decided to see if I could handle a little bit of fat, and that was really a bad idea. And I don't know for sure that contributed to my gallbladder blowing out, but fat's not good for gallbladders, so it probably did. I'm just gonna think that it did. So all this adrenaline's running through my body, flooding my system. My poor liver's trying to sop it all up in addition to what it's already having to do. Then I put a little bit of fat on top of it, which makes my liver work extra hard. That's not good. So then I start having these episodes again. Basically what I think happened is that pathogen got enough fuel that it was able to move to the forefront and start partying. And it did. So I started having these episodes again. I don't know if they were pancreas at that point or gallbladder. I sort of think pancreas, because they were centrally located, top of my abdomen kind of thing, and they would start there, and there would be like a pushing sensation. They would push down. I have done videos about it already, but there would just be that pushing sensation, and then again it would be both ends, right? So I'm sitting on the toilet with a bucket in my hands, and it would go a couple hours, like an hour into the toilet, an hour into the bucket, and then it would finally subside. I would go to sleep. I would wake up the next morning and I would be okay, but feel sort of like delicate. And then I would do like really gentle foods that were gentle in my digestive system, mostly raw. No, definitely all raw. And I would do that for a few days, and then it would be okay. Like I would just do mostly juices and smoothies, and then it would be okay again. So at first it seemed like the fat was triggering it. So I took the fat out, and that seemed to lessen the episodes, but they were still happening. So then I thought, well, maybe it's the seasoning. It's very spicy and it has black pepper in it, and black pepper is a gut irritant, and maybe that's an issue. So I took the seasoning out. So then that actually lessened the episodes, but then I noticed that it seemed like cooked food was triggering it. So it's like if I ate cooked food after a certain point in the day, that would trigger it. And then all of a sudden it was like just cooked food at all. And anyway, it started to be to where like I didn't know what was going to trigger it, but I thought mostly it was cooked food. And so I stopped eating cooked food for like 3 weeks, and that seemed to work. And then I don't know what possessed me. I think I had gotten away with a few bites of something, and then the next day I had a potato, like a few bites of something cooked. The next day I had like a potato, and that seemed to be okay. So I was like, oh, it's okay now. I can eat cooked food. And I did, and then I just had the biggest episode I've ever had. And then instead of the pain being just in the middle, it shifted over to the right. That's when I think it blew into my gallbladder. Because what can actually happen with these pathogens is that they can sit in one organ, and then they can just be like the pancreas, and they can just be kind of blown into your gallbladder if the circumstances are right, and the circumstances seem to be right, and once they blow into the gallbladder, it can actually take the gallbladder down pretty fast, which is what seemed to happen, because within a couple of days after the pain started moving to the right, and that episode kind of didn't stop, is when it started hurting so bad, like the pain just would not go away. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't anything, and I couldn't keep anything down, and it was so bad that I thought, I think I have to go to the hospital. Like, I think this is serious. So I did. I went to the hospital, and then at the hospital they said, your gallbladder, they did an ultrasound of the gallbladder. They said, it's huge, and it should only be the size of like a golf ball, but it's like the size of a large mango. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, then we did the surgery, and that's in the last video. So, so yeah, basically, to sum it all up, this had been a long time coming. And maybe if I hadn't ever created the perfect storm, I mean, accidentally, obviously, nobody ever wants 9 months of stress, but if I hadn't had that like perfect storm, maybe it would just sit dormant for whatever, and it would be fine, and it would never be an issue. But because I had that like just of like adrenaline stress, and then the fat and everything, and just, I don't know, it was just like, it just all created that perfect environment for that pathogen to go party time in my body. Now, in my mind, I like to think that if it blew the pathogen into my gallbladder, which caused it to die, that maybe it blew the whole thing of it out and now it's gone because since the gallbladder's been removed. I don't know if that's true or if that has happened, but I'm hoping so. Most people I've talked to who have had gallbladder surgeries say that after the gallbladder surgery, things were much better. Now, I know because I have had that surgery that I need to keep a low to no fat diet, and that's actually not a problem for me because I do that anyway. And I can eat cooked food now without incident, but it is not entirely without incident, because even though I do not have like gallbladder stuff, if I start eating cooked food again, because I put a little bit of salt on cooked food, the edema in my ankle starts coming back. The great thing about when I was just eating all raw, and whenever I eat all raw, is the swelling goes down and the edema goes away. So that tells me that my body would really just prefer raw. So I'm going to try my best to just do that. For now, I'm going to, keep it no fat raw. And I know I can do it as long as I just have like enough smoothies in a day, or like enough smoothies plus spinach soup or whatever. So I know how to do it. I know what to do. It's just a matter of doing it and like keeping it that way. So that is my understanding of how it happened and how it went down and why that was able to happen. I want it to be clear that what has helped me recover as well as I am, in my opinion, is having that healing foundation of the medical medium information under me, so that when I did go through something big like this, I immediately had the information to start recovering. Like, I knew what to do, I knew the foods to eat. Now, in the hospital, they were like, you just had your gallbladder out. Here, have eggs and toast and bacon. And I was like, are you kidding me? What am I going to use to digest that with? I do not, I mean, the liver can make a little bit of bile, but nope, I don't have the organ to make the bile needed to digest all that fat. That's crazy. Plus, I'm like, plus I don't eat any of those things, but I thought that was really wild that they brought me that. But I had the information to do the best for myself, to help myself heal, so I was able to, get off painkillers really quick and get off all the drugs they had going in me really quick. And I did do the course of antibiotics, but I also have the healing tools to help counteract that and detox that stuff out of me, hopefully. And I've been doing that. So sometimes stuff's just already coming down the line. Sometimes that train is already barreling down the track. And if you've got a pathogen in you from previous food poisoning or something like that, I mean, the perfect storm can wake it up and let it have its time. So it, it's not that healing on this path is going to prevent us from ever having any incidents happen again, because we still live on planet Earth and we still face toxicity, and this is planet stress. Medical medium says this is planet stress. There's a lot of adrenaline on this planet. There's a lot of stuff that causes us heavy amounts of stress. There's big events that could happen, and you never know. You don't know what new pathogens you could come in contact with, or how just anything from anywhere. So there's always something. There's always new toxins. There's always new something. So stuff can still happen, but the great thing is that we can bounce back a lot quicker. So I feel like I've come back from this pretty quickly, especially considering at the beginning of it, I really, right after my surgery, I thought, well, I'm back to square one, because I couldn't do anything. Right after my surgery, I had fatigue again. I couldn't get up. I couldn't move. I needed help doing everything. My husband had to do all the foods. I couldn't help with any of that. But my strength has built back over time, and I feel like I'm almost there. I'm almost fully there. And I feel like everything's healing really well, and I haven't had, other things going wrong. And anyway, I just feel like it makes me so much more resilient that I can come back to where I was before after the surgery, and then just sort of keep going from there. So we'll just see what happens from there. And look at this. This is still happening. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. There's not all that patchy red stuff, because I still haven't used my CPAP, and that's going really well. I'm still sleeping, and I'm still not using my CPAP, and I still have clear skin, and I'm so friggin' happy about that. And I'm just feeling good about things. And I think a lot while I have all this downtime. It gives me time to sort of think about, it gives me time to binge watch ridiculous shows, which, I'm a little bit getting tired of, but it's my guilty pleasure is dumb comedy shows. So, but it also gives me a lot of time to, sort of live in the space between, and think about my spirituality, and just kind of slow down and be inside myself a little bit. And I talk to friends, but I spend a lot of time just kind of in contemplation, and I enjoy it. So I don't mind. It's starting to get nice out, so I can open up the windows, and I'm kind of thinking about, we're still in a temporary space, and I'm kind of thinking about what can I plant in containers in this temporary space. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Put them in the comment box below. If I didn't cover anything, I'm trying to cover, it's not like a huge story, but it's kind of an ongoing thing. If you've been watching my channel for a while, it's oh, so that could lead to that, huh? Yeah, it can. Be careful. If you ever do have kind of episodes like this, you know what my recommendation would be is just try to eat all raw, because I think that was the best thing that I did ever between those things, is try to eat a lot of juices and greens and fruits, and try to eat fat-free and all raw, and see if you can prevent it from blowing out into your gallbladder, so that you have to have your gallbladder removed. But the beautiful thing is if we do, we can live without a gallbladder. You don't want to ever really have to live without any of your organs, but as organs go, apparently we can live without those. So for me, because I already was fat-free before, it's not a big adjustment to continue being fat-free. I'm just right now taking it to the raw level, because I feel like that's what I really need to do. And it's not that that's permanent, but that's what I'm doing for now. So yeah, questions, comments, anything else you want to know, just put it in the comments below. And I hope this answered that question. How could this happen? Because it's not the end all be. It's I'm totally still healing, and it's not that other stuff doesn't come up in life. It's just that, you have this foundation of healing under you, you bounce back quicker, and that's the beauty part of it. That's the takeaway. Whatever was coming down the line might still come. It might still come. Sometimes we can stop and reverse, and it's not going to keep coming, but sometimes there's just stuff coming down the line that was, you know, is going to come through anyway. Or you give it the perfect circumstances in which it can thrive. But it's okay. It's okay. Because I've got my foundation, and I've got, like, I know what to do. I know what to do to come back from it. And I knew what supplements to take, and it took me a minute to get back up to all of them, but I'm back up to all of them, and I know how to support myself, and that's the beauty. And feeling that peace and that confidence about being able to go and do something like a surgery, which for me, like, kind of a big deal, because hospitals have always been sort of PTSD inducing for me. But I had that peace about it, like, okay, if this has to happen, I'm in good hands, and we'll do this. I mean, that's what having that information gave me. So I hope that helped. I hope that answers the question. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to the channel by hitting that subscribe button over there and ding the bell next to it if you want to be notified when I post new videos. And I do recommend the bell because inconsistent upload schedule, especially because surgery and still getting back into the swing of things and video ideas, and I'm just kind of living in the slow lane again right now, where I'm kind of taking my time about things and just doing what I'm inspired to do and what I'm called to do. I'll get there. I'll get back to my regular upload schedule, hopefully. We'll see. I have lots of ideas, so there's no shortage there. And if you have ideas of things you would like to see me make videos about in the future, also put them in the comments. I'm always open to your wonderful suggestions, and you guys have given me a lot of really good suggestions, so I very much appreciate that. As always, I love you. I want you to remember that you can heal, stay curious, and I will see you next time. So many blessings on your continued healing journey. Bye-bye.